But you didn't say anything to me. You didn't do anything to me.
Well, that's what I was thinking, like.
I just don't like you no more.
What is it like knowing the entire nation of Ireland is pulling for you? Because I've seen the ads. They're literally booking tourism now off of this.
Are they really?
Yeah,
Really?
Brendan, tell me about it, yeah.
Well, it's really great
Have you
because
heard that?
we did this. Well, it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, that
we
the
went to
area
Bruges, and Bruges went up 30% after the movie in terms of tourism. So they were. Remember, they were pinning up signs even before we left Bruges.
Yeah.
So, like for this, I'm not surprised that they're at it. Yeah, no, that does make sense. But I'm thrilled. It gives a bit of a lift to everybody, I think, you know, when the team does well. So delighted to hear about it, yeah.
I'm going to say this again because I did tell you after 13 hours, and then I think I've seen him randomly on a couple of things. I've been like championing. I'm like, I'm going to see you in February at the Oscars. And this one didn't believe it. But I have to ask you, what was it like that morning? Was somebody calling you? Were you staying away from it? Or were you like, I need to know?
The morning of the nominations?
Yeah.
I got a text earlier that day from Kerry, and she said, what are you doing? Are you going to go to bed? Are you going to wait and see if it happens that your publicist will call you? I think I'll go to bed maybe. And I said, well, there's a few coming over to my house. Do you want to pop by? So 5 o'clock in the morning, knock on the door. There she was in her pajamas. I had my youngest boy was with me, 2 sisters, a brother-in-law, and Kerry, and we watched it live. And it was just we're not even agreeing to treat it with light, but it's just a moment in time, and it's a really lovely moment. And so many people worked their arses off in this film. And so to be part of this film that meant so much to so many of us in front of and behind the camera, and that now, as you say, it means something to the people at home in our country, because I'm getting texts from my mates saying, you know, everyone's watching and we're all cheering you on. And it's so weird, because you would think you're supposed to get a big head from it, but you get the opposite. It's deeply humbling. Like, it's deeply humbling, maybe a little bit of a big head, but it's just lovely, because what's humbling is anytime you feel a sense of connection. The whole thing is supposed to be about connection, storytelling, isn't it? Whether you write a story, or whether you do it with a paintbrush and a canvas, or you put on a play, or you act in a film, you're trying to connect to your fellow that you're in front of, you know, the audience. So to connect like this film seems to have is just, it's beautiful. But anyway, that was the morning.
What about you, sir? Were you surrounded by the family? You got a few actors in your family, so I'm sure they were.
You were working the next day,
I
weren't
was
you?
working the next day.
You had an early call.
I was working on Joker 2, and so I had to get up at 5 o'clock anyway. So I kind of, I needed to get some sleep, and so Danica Smith across there hiding in the corner said, "I'm going to phone you at whatever time it is." So 4 o'clock in the morning, I got this call, and I said, "Well, if you're ringing, it better be good news." And so it was kind of bizarre and thrilling to wake up. It was good because I wasn't all stressed out or tensed or thinking about it or anything. I needed to sleep. And it's a nice way to go to work, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what did they say in work, the hometown hero?
It took it a while to kind of bleed in, you know, because it wasn't that long after, but
Yeah.
so not everybody had known and seen it. So I'm there going, saying nothing. And then people said, ugh, so it was great. So, yeah, nice phone call to get.
I just realized this. Are y'all swapping notes on the new DC? Like I mean, like literally, you're both in DC films. You're looking like Dapper Dans together. Y'all are really like coming as like the Irish Beatles
Thank
up
God
in
you
here.
didn't
It's
wear a
great.
white shirt. Barry's my Joker.
Yeah.
And Joaquin is his. Yeah, I start doing the Penguin show in 3 weeks or something.
It's kind of crazy too to think about you guys from
Fun.
in Bruges to now. Like
Yeah.
you all already had incredible careers before then, but I really do feel with both of you, that was the beginning of different chapters in a lot of ways.
Well, in Bruges was a special one, really,
Yeah.
and definitely the way it kind of became a cultish film without having been a massive box office success or anything
Yeah.
like that was deeply satisfying, because it was, I'd say, irritating for the producers, but it kind of bled in beautifully in a way that people really respected. So when they were talking to you, it was coming from what they had really bought into the film, and I'm not sure what it would do. I don't know what these things do career-wise. I suppose I live in Dublin all the time, so there would have been a little bit more high profile over here for me, but you had as high a profile as you could wish for anyway. I guess, I don't know. I think people maybe were looking for some of our work with a different intent after In
Right.
Bruges. You know what I mean? That they were looking with a specific view to looking at something that had a degree of intelligence in the writing, and the way Martin McDonagh's stuff is, it's very hard to actually kind of compartmentalize. So it kind of brought people into new areas, maybe.
Yeah.
I am queen of the most powerful nation in the world, and my entire family is gone. Have I not given everything?
What does it mean to you to be back here and to be back here again leading a all-black cast that is also Oscar nominated?
Oh, it's phenomenal. It just means that, that you've been consistent and that you persevered.
Yeah.
Continue to work hard and to show up.
What's been the best moment for you on this sort of like Oscar run this time? What's been a moment that you really sort of cherish about it?
Oh, let's see. Well, of course, at the Golden Globes, seeing the love and support of my husband and everyone else seeing that as well, as he, videotaped that moment. Like, you could never find it anywhere else in the world. So that was pretty typical of him, but it's nice.
Yeah, for folks that don't know, your husband goes down in history as the most supportive husband ever, because when you were ever on stage, he is right there with the camera, making sure he captures every moment. And I know he prides himself on that, Mr. Courtney B. Vance. It really does feel like the film is continued to be honored, but so much of it was in a grieving place this time around, and so much of it was related to what you guys had going on with Chadwick. What do you hope it sort of leaves in addition to the legacy that you guys were already building upon when you came back?
When you have to go through things as challenging as that, the grief, the depth of grief that we felt there, it was an opportunity to really dig deep within yourselves and to create something lasting and beautiful, and something that would pay tribute to him and to the legacy that he helped to, the success that he helped to lead us all to. And I really feel that, sitting next to him during the first Panther, day to day, every morning, that this is something that he would be proud of. In a very beautiful way, he is very much a part of this moment and still of this journey as today and as it continues to go forward, whatever that might look like. I'm saying nothing. I know nothing. In whatever way that looks like.
In whatever way. Thank you. You made such history. The very first MCU actor to ever be nominated for a role, and of all the superhero movies, the only non-villain to be Oscar nominated. You made such...
Non-villain and not
Yeah.
really a superhero.
Yeah, exactly. But in a
Just a regular woman.
a queen.
A queen.
Yes.
And that's what
Such a phenomenal achievement. But there's been some great movies this year. I would just ask you, which other films, besides your work in this one, did you particularly admire this year?
I did enjoy Elvis. I enjoyed Till. Very much. I enjoyed The Banshees of Inisherin. And of course, Everything Everywhere.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I wish to promote you, Mr. Presley. Are you ready to fly?
I'm ready. Ready to fly.
It has to make this entire thing so bittersweet with the recent news. And I have to ask you as a human how it feels to have to try and celebrate this, knowing that there is literally, such a cloud in the absence of Lisa Marie.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to sort of put into words. We all had the great fortune of getting to spend so much time with Lisa Marie and with her family, and she and I got to spend such special moments together, and we both sort of filled certain voids in each other's lives, and so bittersweet is the word that I've been using as well, and because I know how much this film meant to her, and I know, that moment of getting to celebrate with her at the Golden Globes, and how much that it means to us, and how much it meant to her, and it is. I had a really hard time celebrating for a while after, and Jerry Schilling actually, he texted me and he said, Lisa would want you to enjoy this time. And so I've been trying to just carry her legacy through all that we're doing with, talking about the film now, and also just not just us, but I think everybody being there for their family right now in this time is really important, and realizing that grief is not something that is like a car crash that happens and then goes away, but it lasts for a long time. So I think just everybody continuing to send them love and support is really vital in this time.
What happened?
It was in a car accident on the causeway.
I'm kind of on a lot of medication.
What kind of medication?
Like don't shoot yourself in the head kind of medication.
Okay.
What was it like that morning to hear your name called?
You should ask the random white man in my building that was in the elevator when I got the information and I screamed at this poor man, because I screamed at him. Like, you know, he's stuck on this elevator and he sees me scream and he's like, what happened? And I'm like, I was nominated for an Oscar. And he's like, for what movie? I'm like, who cares? I don't know. But it was nice because what it felt like is that it felt like he won too, you know, like we never met each other and he was just so incredibly happy for me. And I feel like that's what this whole thing has been. It feels like this nomination feels like everyone won something. Yeah. It's like the nomination in and of itself feels like a win. Because there's been so many people who have held this vision for me, who have, you know, would tell me all the time, like, well, it's a matter of time. Yeah. And just like, you're like, okay, well, you know, whatever. I just want to show up and do great work. You know, that's my job. But to really hear it from people and contemporaries that I've admired and people that have been with me along the way to really be like, yeah, like, it's very exciting. And I'm like, you know, it's bigger than me. It's not just mine, you know, it's shared. So I don't know how I feel about it. Like, I'll sit down sometimes and just like take a deep breath and go, because I'll forget, and then it'll hit me and I'm like, oh, right. You know, like that happened. But it's truly, I don't know, it's an out-of-body experience. It feels good. I'm in a great class. I'm amongst great people. Also seeing that Angela Bassett's up there is a win. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it feels like a big win already. So whatever happens in March really isn't a big deal because I already feel like I won, really honestly, just being here.
What was it like when you got to talk to your director and Miss Jennifer Lawrence about this? Because it's both producer and director. I know as much as they were happy for the film and your journey to make it, I know they were equally as happy about the flowers.
Jennifer Lawrence would say it after every take, honestly, annoyingly so. She's like, you're gonna get nominated for Oscar for this, and then just walk away. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And so like months of that. Honestly, months of that, and she, you know, and I just never, you know, like Jennifer we just. So I was like, okay, whatever, shut up, like whatever. But the fact that all of them had a feeling and held that, you know, from day one, they honestly always supported that. Lila Neugebauer, I cannot say enough about her and her vision and her support and her as a person, because I've always wanted to be there in some capacity to work with her creatively. And when I got the call to do this movie, there was no such thing as not doing it because Lila was at the helm of it. To be able to come to a project like this, to watch her get her flowers in a way, you know, by directing this first feature with, you know, Academy Award winner, Jennifer Lawrence, and to make a nominee out of me is really, really wonderful. Like, it just is something. And so when I got, I mean, like, it was just another excuse for them to scream at me, like, I told you so, you know? So it was truly just, I don't know. It feels so great to know that they held that vision and believed in it before I even had any idea.
Not only do you have your first Oscar nominations, but so many of your Eternals crew. And then if you also want to go ahead and take it way back, your Yale grad friends that have also made a way for this. It does feel like a bit of a family affair.
What's really cool about what we do, and I was saying this to somebody else, I was like, you hope that at some point in coming up, because we were all not like the other kids, right? Like there was something, like we were all those kind of just crunchy kids doing something different, you know? And you kind of hope that at some point you find each other. Like you hope that you're enough of a channel to actually attract those things to you. And it really has felt like that. I remember doing Eternals with Barry, who, like, when I tell you Barry Keoghan, he is one, like, we were inseparable. Like, that was my G. And you could just feel that this was something different. It was something new just because of who the people were and to be in that space and time. And you just go with it, you know? Like, even with Colin Farrell, like, when we did Widows, there was an immediate connection between us of wanting to, tether. It's a tether. And so, like, I feel like all of this is just a reflection of that. And it's just really great to be amongst your peers. That's what I'm saying. It feels like a community of peers and contemporaries that are just out here wanting to create, and people are recognizing that and giving us, you know, our accolades. So it's great. I'm in a great class. I'm amongst a great number. And we're all witches. I don't know if y'all know that, but we're all witches. So this was inevitable.
Casting spells.
We cast
Casting spells.
Think you'll ever move back to Scotland?
No.
Why?
And there's this feeling, once you leave where you're from, that you don't totally belong there again.
Thinking back to like then, when the film was first coming out, did you think you'd be here?
Oh no, I think that would be... I always hoped in some alternate universe that it may happen, but I don't think there was any true expectation of it actualizing, yeah.
What was that first morning like for you? Because I know you were still in the middle of your place.
Yeah.
And it was in the middle, it's like weird timing for everything. So who was the person that told you? Did you get the publicist call? Were you watching?
No, I had planned a meeting that morning that I had hoped would kind of move through the nomination. So I would just come out of the meeting and find out or know, or the meeting ended like bang on time. I was back in my flat. And I was like, I'm just gonna stick them on, watch that on my phone. Then went and did the play in the evening. Yeah, it was mad. It was crazy.
One of the great parts of this whole Oscar tour is you're kind of in a class with a whole bunch of other nominees. And I saw you in the Daniels. Talking about some of y'all got to spend time together.
I bumped into them at the Governor's Awards and just freaked out at the fact that they'd seen the film. Then got to like share an interview with them. It's pretty insane. I love that film. And from my brief interactions with them, they seem like the most generous men, yeah.
Is there somebody else as a part of this sort of, I guess, the Oscar season that you've gotten to see their film that you particularly enjoyed, or somebody that you got to meet? I mean, there's a lot of really great names on this time around.
I mean, like, to be nominated in a category with Colin as a young Irish actor, watching him for years is something that I take, like, great pride in. Michelle Williams, I don't know her at all, but I idolize her work, so they're the two that spring into mind.
Your young co-star, she's also been getting a ton of accolades too, especially in the young performers. What has that been like to sort of see this process through her eyes?
I mean, when I was making it, I kind of weirdly felt like that was inevitable. The minute she stepped on set, the minute she was in front of camera, I was like, you're a star. And she is a star. That don't work with animals or kids thing is probably true for some people, but I would do it again in a heartbeat. If the actor was as good as Frankie is, which maybe is the key piece of information.
You may have peaked.
Yeah, I may have peaked.